On March 26, 2026, a data leak changed everything, and the whole world is still figuring it out. We're talking about how a human error costs $100+ million to Anthropic. Yes, it's Claude Mythos. A misconfiguration in Anthropic's content management system made nearly 3,000 unpublished internal files publicly accessible, which had draft blog posts and documentation for the Mythos project. The data leak is then reported by Fortune and other outlets, and Anthropic confirmed that the new model, Mythos, was real and that the exposure was due to human error. Since then, shockwaves have hit Silicon Valley, Wall Street, and Washington, D.C. This is not a normal AI tool, and Anthropic had really built the most dangerous AI in history. In this video, you will get the complete picture on Anthropic Mythos, what it can do, why it was hidden, and who has access to it. Most people do not know half of it yet. Let's break this into 6 sections. Section 1. What Mythos actually is. Mythos is Anthropic's newest and most powerful AI model, a general-purpose model with dramatic improvements in reasoning, coding, and one capability that changed everything: cybersecurity. Mythos can find software vulnerabilities, the hidden cracks in computer systems that hackers exploit, with a speed and precision that no human or previous AI system has ever demonstrated. And trust me, it has literally proved it. Here is what it has already done, fully autonomously, with no human involvement after the initial request. It identified and exploited a 17-year-old remote code execution vulnerability in FreeBSD, a major operating system. It also found a security flaw in OpenBSD, one of the most secure operating systems ever built, that had gone undiscovered for 27 years. And according to Anthropic, it has found thousands of additional high and critical severity vulnerabilities across open source and closed source systems worldwide. Section 2. Why they are not releasing it. Now you might think, if the system is so good at detecting vulnerabilities worldwide, why is it not being released? There are a couple of important reasons. The capability that makes Mythos extraordinary for defense also makes it catastrophic in the wrong hands. Every vulnerability Mythos can find, it can also exploit. Think about what that means. A hacker with access to Mythos would not need years of expertise, a team, or even a deep understanding of systems. They would just need to ask. That is why, in April 2026, Anthropic decided to keep the model internal, with limited access under Project Glasswing, citing significant security risks and calling it too capable and dangerous. You will understand more about Project Glasswing in Section 4. Section 3. The emergency meeting nobody reported. And this is the part most coverage has missed. On April 8, 2026, the same day Anthropic made its limited announcement, Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell and Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent called an emergency meeting. They summoned the heads of the largest banks in America to Washington, D.C., including Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, and Bank of America. The subject of that meeting was Mythos. Goldman Sachs CEO David Solomon later confirmed that the bank is strengthening its cyber resilience as a direct result. The Federal Reserve and Treasury described these as emergency meetings about systemic threats. Mythos was classified as a systemic threat to the financial system. Section 4. Project Glasswing, the controlled release. So, what is Anthropic doing with Mythos if it is not releasing it publicly? The answer is Project Glasswing. Anthropic has given preview access to exactly 40 organizations, including Amazon, Apple, Microsoft, Cisco, CrowdStrike, Palo Alto Networks, the Linux Foundation, and JP Morgan Chase. Their task is to use Mythos to find and patch vulnerabilities in their own systems and in critical open source software that the entire internet depends on. Anthropic is giving these partners $100 million in usage credits for Mythos, and it is also donating $4 million to open source security efforts. The logic is simple. If Mythos can find these vulnerabilities, then future models from OpenAI or other labs can too. The real race is not about capability. It is about whether defenders can fix the vulnerabilities before attackers exploit them. Section 5. Both sides. Is Anthropic right or wrong? The debate that is dividing the entire cybersecurity world right now. The case for Anthropic. Dario Amodei, CEO of Anthropic, wrote publicly, "The dangers of getting this wrong are obvious. But if we get it right, there is a real opportunity to create a fundamentally more secure internet than we had before. The vulnerabilities Mythos is finding are real. They exist right now in systems that hundreds of millions of people depend on. A 27-year-old flaw in OpenBSD, 17-year-old exploits in FreeBSD, FreeBSD. These would have been found eventually, by researchers or by criminals. Mythos found them first. The case against Anthropic. David Lindner, Chief Information Security Officer at Contrast Security with 25 years of experience, told Fortune the real problem is not finding vulnerabilities. It is fixing them. Anthropic itself admits that over 99% of the vulnerabilities Mythos found have not yet been patched. Mythos found thousands of critical vulnerabilities, but most of them are still open right now. Anthropic is simultaneously the source of the danger and the proposed solution. Section 6. The Trump conflict. Nobody is connecting. The political dimension that makes this story even more dangerous. While Anthropic is negotiating with some parts of the U.S. government about Mythos, it is in open conflict with others. The Department of Defense has labeled Anthropic a supply chain risk to national security. President Trump and Defense Secretary Hegseth have publicly criticized the company, and Trump ordered federal departments to halt use of Anthropic platforms. Read that combination carefully. Anthropic has built the most powerful cyber weapon in history. The U.S. government considers Anthropic a national security risk, and 40 private companies now have access to that weapon. This is the geopolitical situation that no headline has fully stated out loud. So, what this really means? This is not a story about one company or one model. This is a story about the moment AI became something governments hold emergency meetings about, and the fight is between the attackers and defenders. If this changes how you see the technology being built right now, share it with someone who needs to understand what is actually happening. And subscribe to Reality Check, because this story is not over, and we will be here when the next chapter breaks. Meanwhile, did you know that OpenAI is reportedly building something similar to Mythos called Spud?